I had an accident and I had a roof access door fall on my head and land on my head.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I am literally an inch shorter because of it. I had what all the doctors described as migraines for 13 and a half months. And it was frustrating for everybody because people would say, okay, so where's your pain? And I'd say, do you mean right now? Do you mean this morning? Do you mean last night? Because it would change. Sometimes it would be a sharp poker behind my eye. Sometimes it was just everything from my neck up just felt like it was 3 times the size it was supposed to be, and the whole thing just hurt. I could hear every single sound in a space 1,800 square feet, everything from every single voice, every single mechanical thing. If there was a bug that got in the building, I could hear the bug. There were times when I was just so nauseous but couldn't actually ever throw up. There were a lot of times that my vision came down to tunnel vision and everything outside of that was just black. Ice and Advil were my best friends at the time. Dark spaces.
So how many years ago was this?
91, 92.
Okay, so we're looking at 20 plus years.
What I chose to do at the time was chiropractic. I was seeing my chiropractor 2-3 times a week for most of that time. So caffeine was my drug of choice, and I really learned that caffeine locks injury into muscles, and so I had to let go of the caffeine. At one point I thought I knew more than my chiropractor did, and I was waiting tables at the time, and I had learned, that year I was on light duty, and that year Mother's Day and Easter were back-to-back weekends, and so I worked 2 12-hour days inside of a 10-day time frame, and I re-injured myself back to where I'd started.
So when you say you re-injured, did you hit your head again, or it just all that stress added to your headaches and you were back to square one as far as headache recovery was concerned?
I was on a 10-pound weight limit and 4-hour work schedule limit, and I worked 2 12-hour days.
And you were on Mother's Day, so you were carrying 30 pounds at a time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easter and Mother's Day, so I was carrying, I way overdid my weight limit. I way overdid my hours limit, and I got re-injured. And so I went to see a neurosurgeon, and he said, well, we can put you on antidepressants or anti-inflammatories and see what happens in 6 months to 12 months. And then we might have to do surgery, or I see that you've had a recommendation for acupuncture, so you might try acupuncture. And at the time I was deathly afraid of Western medicine, and I was deathly afraid of needles, and if somebody brought up needles in my presence at that point, I was as white as the wall, and I don't start with that much difference, but it was noticeable. And so I decided to try acupuncture. Probably took me about 50 treatments of acupuncture to get the migraine gone.
50 treatments over how long a period of time?
3 to 6 months. I had given up caffeine by that time. I was still seeing my chiropractor, and at the end of the whole thing, I got introduced to craniosacral therapy. So I had one session with a brand new person who had just taken cranio and was literally sitting there with the book going, okay, I've heard this is really great for headaches. Okay, this is what I do next. And even with all that, I still felt really